Hey, this is Mad Matt Collectibles here. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different review. We're going to be doing a review for a show. This episode specifically will be about The Boys. Now, as of the recording of this video, yesterday I watched episode 6 of season 5 of The Boys. We are on the final season. Season 5 is the final season and we had 3 episodes left as of yesterday. And I want to talk about the series as a whole this season. Yesterday's episode, I want to talk about all of it, what I liked, what I didn't like, and what I've enjoyed or not enjoyed about the series overall. So, I enjoyed yesterday's episode, um, which I'm glad because I have not super enjoyed this season of The Boys. I'm not trying to be overly critical. I don't want to sit here and just bash The Boys or any show or movie because it takes a lot of work. A lot of people work on this series. A lot of people put, so much time and effort, so much love, and um, just they're all into some of these things. And it's easy to bash stuff especially when you're not the one that created it. So I don't want to be overly harsh. But I have not been super fond of this season. I have seen many series to their completion. I've seen many series finales. I grew up at a time where, we had 22 plus episodes a season for things. The seasons for shows, they came out year round. They usually ended sometime in about May or so, and they usually came out in sometime about September or October or so. And they came yearly. They came around yearly. They did not come, 2 years after the previous season where you forget everything that has happened. I think that's a flaw of many TV shows nowadays. They come out 2 years after, and you don't even remember what happened last season. The Boys, the season 4 was about 2 years ago. And I think that kind of hurt the momentum going into the series finale or the last season, excuse me. But maybe not too much because the excitement was still there. But I think a lot of people have maybe gotten a bit fed up with the boys and their humor and their storylines. And I have to say, I'm one of them. I've overall enjoyed them, but the crude humor, it was funny when it was fresh. Maybe not so funny the 20th time you've heard it in an episode. So speaking of yesterday specifically, there was a character called the Legend, I believe, right? The Legend is what his name was. Um, he was funny and he was played by a great actor. I don't know the actor's name. I'm sorry. But he is good. I've seen him in other things, including, if I'm not mistaken, that's the same guy in Stranger Things. That was one of the doctors, not the doctor that was, pretty horrible to Elle, but the other doctor who ended up being on the side of the Stranger Things team, and he's great. I think so. And anyway, he played the role really well yesterday, and he was funny, but also his jokes were kind of played out, and not because of the actor. He did a fine job, but the writing. He was saying a lot of. I'm not trying to curse on this channel, but a lot of you know jokes about private parts and having intercourse and whatnot. I try to keep this channel a bit PG. I'm sorry, so. Um, but a lot of, and I'm fine with crude humor. I'm not like a stick in the mud or anything. I enjoy it. It's just when it's overly done and it's just not done. If it's just not done well, if it's not executed well, if it's not funny, then I don't enjoy it in those moments. But I'm not like against it just for the sake of being against it. The issue is the Legend doesn't really sound different from any of the other characters. Um, you can kind of, yeah, interchange any of these. You can kind of swap any of these characters out and they pretty much sound the same. Which is a criticism I have of the boys. They all just speak like they're kind of teenage boys who realize that no one's around and they can curse and be as vulgar as they want. And um, as a guy in his 30s, I don't hear a lot of people, especially my age or anywhere around my age, speaking the way they do in The Boys. But, fair enough. It's a TV show. It has to have its own style. It worked for a lot of the time, but like I said, for example, with the legend, not quite. He could have come in and made a really big impression. It could have been funny because he could have been that guy who, all he talks about is having sex with, um, you know, whoever he's come into contact with, and he has all these crazy stories. The issue is they all speak like that. Um, but aside from that, just all of it, I thought the Sister Sage stuff and Ashley stuff, it was okay. It was fine. Um, I don't think they really went anywhere with that storyline for the episode. Like, I don't know what. I don't think it made a difference. For example, if Ashley read Soldier Boy's mind, and then like the other Ashley, the one that we see the face of all the time, she didn't want to go through with it, but the Ashley on her head, she went through with it, and she read the mind of Soldier Boy, and I kind of feel like that didn't really go anywhere. But then you have what else was going on in the episode? Soldier Boy and Homelander. Wow, those two are really carrying the series. Um, season three, Soldier Boy carried season three. Homelander's been carrying the whole series on his back. Anthony Starr is great. We all know this. Jensen Ackles, he's been doing a great job as Soldier Boy. But even him, right? So Soldier Boy has been probably the most likable part of this series, or this season, excuse me, for season five. Homelander, Anthony Starr is always great. Homelander is always great, but Soldier Boy, in my opinion, has been stealing the show. And even him, when he has shown up on screen, he's great. But then he also, every other word out of his mouth is something sexual or something. Like I said, I don't have an issue with that in and of itself. I don't have an issue of them talking like that in and of itself. It's just overdone. It's just not super funny anymore, and more so like eye rolling and okay, yeah, we get it. This is a very Soldier Boy thing to say, or whatever. But the storyline itself, with them getting Compound V or V1, excuse me, that is fine. Every episode of The Boys kind of feels like, okay, this is the episode where um we want to test out the virus, and then that's one whole episode. Then the next episode is, okay, this is the episode where we found out in the very very end of the last episode, we found out that V1, anybody with V1 in their system, they are not affected by the virus. So now we have to find V1 before Homelander gets it, and so also some of our characters can get V1. So this is the episode where we research where we can find V1, and that's the whole episode. Then the next episode is, because and then in that episode they maybe find a hint, or they find a lead where to go and search for the V1. So then in the next episode, the whole episode is going to that place to look for the V1. And every episode has felt like that. And then last episode, they all got the hint that Bomb Site has V1. I believe his Bomb Site was the character's name. Um, so this episode is trying to get to Bomb Site. And so that took up the whole episode. Now, I will say, Bombsight himself, he was great. I like the actor. I don't know his name, but he did a good job as Bombsight. The character was pretty cool. He was powerful. He could fly. He seemed to have some kind of invulnerability. He was great. I thought he did a great job. I know he's going to be in Vault Rising, which is the spin off for The Boys, that is going to star Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy and Aya Cash as Stormfront. But yeah, he did a great job, and I think they've been setting up Vault Rising a lot this season. Knowing that in the back of my mind, I can see like, okay, well, this is why they included Bombsight, right? Because it could have really been any other character, but it's like you got to set up Vault Rising for the spinoff. Sure, fair enough. He did a great job. That was fine. Soldier Boy's interactions with him was great. It's cool seeing Soldier Boy in the kind of dynamic where he is there with an old friend or old rival, and they're arguing and fighting, and Bombsight is even referring to him as Ben. I forgot Soldier Boy's name was Ben. I forgot Soldier Boy's name was not Soldier Boy. I know that sounds funny. It's like, well, of course he has a different name, but kind of like Homelander. Homelander, his name is John, but he just always goes by Homelander to everybody, and he gets upset if you actually call him John. But Soldier Boy's interactions with him were great. And Homelander, I've been really enjoying the dynamic between Soldier Boy and Homelander. It's cool to see Homelander, that side of him where he has a father and he's looking up to Soldier Boy. He is obviously desperate for his approval. Um, and that's been enjoyable versus seeing Homelander always just being the guy that everybody's so terrified around, um, where they you don't see multiple sides of Homelander because everybody's so scared to say the wrong thing to Homelander. But Soldier Boy, he'll say whatever he wants. He calls him a disappointment. He says all sorts of nasty things to him that a father should never say to their kid, but he does, and it's funny in the context of the show. He even punched Homelander in the last episode, which I found funny. And then Homelander, he didn't just like laser him or you know just go for the kill. He just kind of looked actually like whoa. He just looked taken aback, and that's his father. It's like sure, you're what are you gonna do? It's his father. He's been longing for that sort of attachment or that sort of relationship. But other than that, the boys themselves are the least interesting part of the boys, which sounds funny because you go, well, it's the boys, right? Like the boys team should probably be the most interesting thing in the boys TV show, but they're not. Um, Actually, every time they're on screen, I gotta be honest. It's no offense to the actors, but I just am ready for their scenes to end. I put it on the writing, and again, I don't want to be overly harsh because I know it takes a lot to get these series up and running, and it takes a lot of work. And I don't want to talk smack too much about them, but to review something, you have to be honest and say what was not well done. And the writing just has not been well done this season. I got to be honest. Or for many seasons now, the boys they feel like they go through the same character arcs every season. I gotta be honest, I'm so tired of like Kimiko and Frenchie and their stuff. Mother's Milk is super down this season because he may not see his family again, and so he's become more butcher like, which they really hammered in, right? Feels like very CW writing. Um, CW used to do that where it's like, we don't want you to, or not that we don't want you to organically feel something for a character or get a certain impression of a character. We just don't know how to incorporate it organically. So we're going to keep telling you that Mother's Milk is becoming like Butcher. And so they did a lot of that CW type of writing, where it's like, we're telling you Mother's Milk is like Butcher, or Huey. We're telling you Huey is super hopeful, you know, um, and like even with that, Starlight has a very on the nose conversation where she's just like she's as the audience she wants it's like they want you to know Huey's the heart of the series and that he's really hopeful and he's so different compared to the rest of the boys, so they keep telling you stuff like um wow, you're super hopeful, Huey, and where do you get this hope from? Starlight literally says something along the lines of where do you get this endless hopefulness? And it's like, okay, we get it. He's hopeful. Um, but I feel like we've been there, done that with all these characters. And am I forgetting anybody? Butcher himself. Butcher, we trust him, we don't trust him, we like him, we don't like him, we don't like him, but we need him, but we don't, but we do, but we don't. And on and on. And I'm just like I find myself waiting for um Anthony Starr's scenes as Homelander, or Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, or the Deep, Chase Crawford as the Deep. What a funny guy, man. Um, but even his part in this episode, right? Um, he fights. I forgot to say spoiler alert, by the way. I'll have to. I'll put some kind of text over the video saying spoilers, because obviously I'm going into the I'm just gonna talk about everything. I'm gonna reveal everything that happens. But the Deep, he was so funny in this episode. But what they gave him, he's funny always, but also what they give him is a little disappointing. They have him completely as the comedic relief, and I think, funny enough, he's one of the most powerful superheroes or soups um, in the boys universe. It's like Aquaman, right? There was this ongoing joke for years before Jason Momoa that Aquaman was a joke. I want to say they even covered that in like the New 52 storyline for DC in the comics. He actually addressed that, I think, in his first appearance in his first issue of that of the New 52 Aquaman series. But we've all heard the jokes. All he does is talk to fish, and we've seen the Family Guy episodes, or whatever cartoons, or Adult Swim, or what no Robot Chicken. We've people have made fun of him ad nauseum at this point, but we know that Aquaman is actually super powerful, and we saw that, for example, in the Aquaman movies with Jason Momoa and his appearance in Justice League. He's strong. He has to survive in the no pun intended, the deep, right, in the deep waters of the ocean. So he has to withstand that pressure. So he's bulletproof. He's crazy strong. And he can communicate with fish, kind of control or ask them, or however it works, to help him out. So you can call a big whale or a shark or whoever, hey, I need your help. Come on, sharks. And so the Deep, he has so much potential, but they don't give him much beyond comedic relief. Okay, you know, he does a great job with what he has, but this episode, he actually um, gets into it further with Black Noir 2, who has been super underutilized this season. I mean, this guy is probably just as powerful as Black Noir 1. I don't know if they ever get into, I don't think they ever say, like, hey, he's literally just as strong or whatnot, but excuse me, it's implied. I always took him to be as powerful as Black Noir 1, just without the ninja skills, without the training. But this guy can even fly. And it's like you don't see him fly, you don't see him really do cool super strength stuff. So super underutilized. And then they just kill him in this episode. And the way he died was pretty lame. He got choked with a cord, and then the Deep took his knife that he took Black Noir's knife that he keeps in his back, kind of placed there to just pull out and do a quick, jabby jab, I guess. And he pulls it out and just stabs Black Noir too in the neck and kills him. He dies like that. And it's funny because I watched the episode and I just go, oh, okay. Like I knew he was gonna die, or I was pretty sure he was gonna die, Black Noir. But you go, that's how he died? And then it's funny because I rewatched it with my wife, and when that scene came up, without me saying anything, she says, "That's it? That's how they killed him off?" And I was just laughing because it's like that's my reaction. That was my reaction when I saw the episode for the first time, and that was many people's reactions out there because I've seen on Reddit and whatnot. I've seen and YouTube. I've seen people's reactions being the same, and it's like they don't know quite how to make something interesting in the show, like make it impactful. Like that could have been a big moment. I get they don't have the budget for big fights, but you should have had the Deep and Black Noir really go at it. Like two characters that are crazy strong. They should have just been punching each other, and you can feel the impact, right? They should have done something more like that. Um, but he just gets choked and then stabbed. Gets choked by just you know, a cord for like the mic or whatever it is. And I know some people had an issue with, would a knife even kill Black Noir? Because they're supposed to be so tough, the soups, especially. Some of them are stronger than others. Not all of them have like diamond hard skin. But Black Noir, if I'm not mistaken, they kind of told us that he did, right? I don't know. I thought he was like crazy strong. So to get choked by the cord, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, right? But I don't think with him being as durable as he is, I don't think he would be choked by that, even if it is being done by somebody as strong as the Deep. Now, the knife, I wasn't a big fan of. I know some people felt like maybe the knife should not have been able to pierce his neck. I I thought that at first too, but then I also thought, well, the Deep is super strong, right? So it's like if you have, it's still a strong knife. It's meant for killing and whatnot. And then if you have a character as powerful as the Deep, then sure, yeah, he can pierce it, right? I would think he can pierce the neck. Yeah, I could buy it enough. But yeah, like I said, just overall unsatisfying. And this season overall has been unsatisfying. And I know people are like, well, every episode there can't be something huge that happens, like some fight or something. Yeah, I get you have to save stuff for the. I guess I get that the budget doesn't allow for a big fight scene every episode. I get they're probably saving a lot of the budget for this season for episode, or I almost said episode three. Excuse me, for the last of the next these three episodes. Well, now two, but episode eight, the finale. I'm sure there's going to be a pretty decent amount of money spent on the fight there, or I would hope so, right? I would hope that you're saving this, and if you're saving it for a reason at this point, that you're building up to something big. But still, huge stuff could happen every season or every episode. Excuse me. It doesn't have to be a huge fight, but great character work, moving the plot forward in an interesting and effective way. You can do that. I just don't think they've done that. Now the ending of it, um, I do like how that worked out. I like that Homelander lasered a hole in his own arm and injected the V1 in there. And, the very powerful lasers come out of his eyes because now he's supercharged and he's super, super Homelander. I did enjoy that. It was cool. It was a nice way to end the episode. I know some people did not care for Soldier Boy turning. I guess they felt that it was a sudden turn. Some people that he gave Homelander the V1, or some people's issue with it was that um, I was reading people talk about his love for Stormfront. He as in Soldier Boy, and that it felt out of character. It feels out of character how much love he has for Stormfront. I don't think so. I mean, I know we haven't seen that, and I know they're gonna build up to it for Vault. They're building up for it for Vault Rising, and we'll see a lot there with those two characters. But I was fine with that overall. I do think they could have done all of that better, but still, I enjoyed the way that the episode ended. I am super excited to see where it goes next. I do enjoy that Homelander now has V1, and now he's going to be, I think, pretty unpredictable. Because now he doesn't have to worry about the virus, so we might see Homelander completely unleashed. So I'm excited going into these next two episodes. The series of the boys. I'm excited every week a new episode comes out. I'm excited the day it comes out. I'm excited to watch it. I love watching it. And then when it's done, I kind of go, "Oh, that was all?" Or while I'm watching it, I go, "Okay, this again or that again." And so I'm conflicted because I really enjoy it, and then also I'm off put by some things. But overall, again, I am looking forward to episode 7 and episode 8. Episode 7 is next week, and then the finale after that. I'm excited. So let's see where they go with it. Again, I'm not trying to just bash this for the sake of bashing it, just sharing some of my thoughts. I still overall really enjoy the series. I still enjoy, especially Soldier Boy, especially Homelander, and the Deep. Um, I don't agree with them. I know some people they also will get on you like, oh well, oh you like them, and it's like I like watching the dysfunction and the craziness on screen. I don't agree with them personally, what they've done or what they do or anything like that. I'm just saying they're enjoyable villains to watch. Um, and I hope that in the next coming episodes, we have enjoyable heroes to watch. I hope, you know, Starlight actually does something. She shows her power. I thought she was going to be a lot more powerful. I hope Huey does more than just be the hope. Oh, hopeful Huey. I hope the other guys they get good scenes. Um, let's see next time. I'll probably do another review, or we'll do another review for the next episode. So we'll see together. We'll see if it gets better. I think it will. I hope it will for the next 2 seasons. Hopefully, it doesn't end, and we just go, "Ooh, that was a way to end the series." But we'll see. Only time will tell. See you next time.